A good Ner Shabbos.
How are you doing?
Baruch Hashem, good.
So you're home for a while?
I'm leaving Motzei Shabbos, actually.
China again? Hong Kong?
Yep. Yeah.
How often do you go?
Well, I'm in the middle of trying to resolve some issues,
Oh, okay. With the government?
like production. No. There's the government today. Is you're in jail.
Oh, okay. Be careful.
They don't ask questions.
You know, it's funny. I was there once, and I needed to find something on YouTube, and
Yeah,
you can't get YouTube there. I mean, that was then.
I know they censor it,
Yeah,
and they censor everything.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Even the Daf.
I don't know about that, but no, I get that there.
You get the Daf.
Yeah.
So when you go for Shabbos, where do you usually stay? What city?
In Kowloon.
Oh, you stay in Hong Kong. You don't go to mainland China for
I
Shabbos.
do, but during the week, I don't.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to be there for Shabbos. I'm just
Oh,
I'm
in and
leaving
out.
Motzei Shabbos back on Thursday.
I was there for Shabbos once in Shanghai, in I think it's the main shul there, because there's a couple there, and I couldn't believe how many people
Yeah,
people are there. It's crazy.
yeah. Most of the people in Shanghai are the kashrus guys,
The what?
the guys that are involved in kashrus, the mashgichim.
Oh, must get right. Yeah, quite a few. Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you, Abe? Getting out of Shabbos.
Hey, Walter.
Hello. Abe, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Is it raining in the valley or it stopped raining already?
Oh, it's raining. I'm not in the valley, but it's raining.
Where do you live?
Pico Robertson.
Huh?
Pico Robertson.
Oh, Pico Robertson. I didn't realize. Okay.
Yeah.
Where'd you daven?
Good. Young Israel.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, your son's here, no?
Yeah. My son-in-law.
Yeah. They've got a great minion going. This young people.
Yeah. Where is our rabbi?
I don't think he's sleeping.
No, it's a good day to sleep in there.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
We are on Samech Beis, 62. Rav Yosef, live on the Tanya, Vayachinu es hamizbeach al mechonosav, Pasuk in Ezra, Shigilu sof midoisav, that the Oile Bavel actually figured out the correct measurements of the Mizbeach more than even Shlomo Melech. How could that be? Vaksiv hakol bichsav miyad Hashem alai yiskil kom lechas atavnis, that Kodesh Baruch Hu gave the blueprints. How could to David and Shlomo? How could Ezra and the Oli Bavel have a better calculation? Rav Yosef, yeah, the measurements that were given by Hashem were correct, but they eventually came to an understanding they needed a bigger area. Pro ashkach v'darshu, Vayomer David, Zehu Beis Hashem Elokim, Zeh Mizbech La'oil Yisrael. So the Mizbech is compared to the bayis, Ki HaBayis. Ma bayis, Shishim Amma, Af Mizbeach, the length of the Mizbech could go up to Shishim Amma. So they knew that they could increase the size of the Mizbech based on the connection to the bayis. Bishma bayis Minkirat Suraso. When the Oile Bavel came back and they built the Beis HaMikdash, so how did they know where to build it? So the original foundations could be found. The question for the bias itself, El Mizbech Min HaYadi. How did they know where they sited the Mizbech? Amar Abelazar, Ra'u Mizbech Banui, Umichal Asar Gadol Oimen HaMakriv Alav. They saw like a vision of the built Mizbech with the Michael, the Malach, being makriv on it. And that's where they knew where to build it. Rav Yitzchak Navcha Amar, a fortune Yitzchak Rosh, Shemunach Osamokum. They saw also a vision of the ashes of Yitzchak there, and that's where they had to build the Mizbech.
Why would they say ashes of Yitzchak? Was he burned? I don't know.
Because the Akedah occurred in this location. The Hara Moriah is where the Akedah.
Yeah, but the term ashes implies he was burned.
So because he was willing to be burned, Avram was willing to do it, it's viewed as if he was actually turned into
I got you. Okay.
The whole Beis HaMikdash smelled of incense, but Misham Erichu Reich Evarim. Where the Mizbech was, they smelled the smell of charred limbs, because that's what was burnt on the Mizbech. There's no problem. They had 3 Nevi'im. Malach, Chagai, Zechari, Malachi. They told them where the Mizbech should be. Echad she'im lehem al Mizbech. Echad she'im lehem al Mokom al Mizbech. How big the Mizbech should be. The other told them where the Mizbech should be placed. The Echad she'id lehem shemakrivim afal pi she'ein bayis. One Navi had to give them the halacha that they could be makriv the korban tzibur, even though they hadn't built the bayis. They only had the Mizbech. That means everything we've been learning in Daniel and in Esther, where initially Koresh gave them permission to build the bayis, but then they stopped it. Right? Letters were sent, they couldn't build it, Vashti stopped it, etc., until the son of Dayevish Hasheni, the son of Achashverosh and Esther, allowed them to rebuild it. So there were no walls of the Beis HaMikdash, yet there was a Mizbeach. So one of the Nevi'im paskined that they could bring the Korbanei Tzibur even though there's no walls. B'masnisa Tana, Rav Eliezer ben Yaakov Omer Shlosh Nevi'im alu mehem min hagola. Echad she'id lehem al Mizbech v'makam Mizbech. One told them the size of the Mizbech and the location of it. Echad she'id lehem shemakrim afal pi she'ein bayis. The other gave them the halacha that they could be makriv korbanos even though there's no walls. The echad she'id lehem al Torah shetichtov ba'ashuris. There used to be a ksav levornis. Hebrew was written in a different ksav that we have today, ksav levornis. And in the time of Ezra, they changed it to ksav ashuris. And they needed a Navi to say, not to write it in the ksav ivri, which was in the time of Moshe. Torah Rabbana. The Mizbeach had to have a keren, a horn, and each one of the corners. Kevesh, the ramp, and it had the yesod, a foundation. The revu had to be square. All these things, if they're missing ma'akvin, that the Mizbeach is not a kosher Mizbeach if it misses any of those 4 things. Midas orko, midas rochbo, midas komoso, and ma'akvin. How exactly the dimension, how big it should be, how tall it should be, that was not ma'akeh. And we could see because over the years they changed it, made it bigger. Menad Emili, how do you know this? Amra Vuna, Amra Kra, Ha Mizbeach, V'chol Makom Shneim Ha Mizbeach La'akev. And by all the things we mentioned, Yesod, El Yesod HaMizbeach, El Karnos HaMizbeach. Whenever it says HaMizbeach, those things have to be there. Elameata Kior. Rebbe held that they had to paint pictures of flowers around the Mizbeach. So that also says Mizbeach. And the Sovev, the elevated walkway halfway up the Mizbeach that the Kohen would walk around, the Rav Yosef Rav Yehuda Chanami Shma'ake. T'chsiv nasata oso tachas karkova Mizbeach v'mata. And it says HaMizbeach, and the Karkov is the walkway. V'tanya Kark Ma Ezel Karkov. Rebbe Yomer is a kior. It refers to the paintings. Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda is a soive. So the Gemara says in the walkway was ma'akev. Tanya also ayom. There was an episode where it's Stuki, the Kohen Stuki, did not do Nisuch HaMayim on Sukkot, and he was pelted with esrogim. And one of the esrogim damaged one of the horns of the Mizbech, Nivka Makir Mizbech. They view Bulshul Melech, they brought some salt, Visitmu, and they sort of fixed the break. V'lovim they should kosher lavoda. It doesn't really help to kasher the avoda. Elish lo yira Mizbech pogum was like a maris ayin. They did it for cosmetic reasons. And why isn't it kosher? Shkom Mizbech she'en lo keren v'kevesh v'yisod revi apostle. And therefore, since one of the horns had been damaged, it's possible. Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Afa soivev, even the soivev, because hamizbeach. So according to Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda, not having the soivev would make the mizbeach possible. Ton Rabbanon, Ezer Karkov. Another pshat, what the Karkov is, Ben Keren LaKeren, on the top of Amma, there was a walkway of an Amma wide between each horn. Did they walk there? Ela the Makom Hiluch Ragle Kohanim was an Amma. The top of the Mizbeach, where there was a place for the Kohanim to walk, was an Amma. That the Karkov can't be talking about the top of the Mizbeach, it's halfway up. There were two walkways. Chad Lenoy. It just stuck out halfway as like a decoration. The Chad Lehiluch Kohanim on the top of the Mizbeach. The Lo Nishtarkush, so that they shouldn't slip. Baraisa says Midas Arko, Midas Rachbo, Midas Komoso Ein Ma'akvin. The length of the width, the length, the width, and the height is not ma'ake of the mizbech. Amr of Mani, it can't be less than the mizbech that Moshe built. Kama, Amr of Yosef, Amma. According to Rav Yosef, the mizbech of Moshe was an Amma by an Amma. Machku alav. They laughed at him. What do you mean? It says Chamesh amos orech v'chamesh amos rochav. Ravua yamizbeach. So it's not an am, it's 5 amos. Perhaps Rav Yosef was talking about an amma by an amma was the size of the grill, or the size of the keren, the horns. Amarle Mardegavarabba Yoda Maikamina. He was a great man. He knows what he's talking about. Kori Alayu, on the people, he laughed at him, B'nai Keturah. They're children of Avram, but they were not Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. They're not like Abaya. B'nei Achzid Rav Tofan Avi Yasre Kamei. Rav Tarfon's nephews, the sons of his sister, were sitting in front of him, in front of Rav Tarfon. Pasuk v'amar, v'yosef Avram v'yikach isha u'shma Yuchni. Amri, they said, it's not Yuchni, K'tura Ksiv. Kori Aleim b'nei K'tura. They knew that, they didn't know anything else. Amr Abai Barun Amr Rav Chama Bar Guria. Gzirin Shasa Moshe. The various logs that Moshe made, because he was told, create bundles of wood for the Mizbeach. Orchan Amma v'Rochvan Amma v'Or. They were an Amma long, an Amma thick, an Amma in width, v'Oivin Kemachak. Legoidesh saw. It's like a stick that they use to measure a saw of wheat. Amr of Yirmiyah. This Amma that we're talking about is Ba'ama Geduma, a smaller Amma. Amr of Yosef V'Lavayna D'Tanya Ala Eitzim Asher Ala Eish Asher Mizbeach. Shelo Yu Eitzim Yoitzim Mizbeach Klum. You didn't want any wood sticking out the sides of the Mizbeach, so they needed a little smaller than an Amma. Tanan Hosa. Kevesh Hayel L'Drom Shel Mizbeach. There was a ramp to the south. Orach Shloshim Ushtayim was 32 length, and Rochav Sheish Esrei, 16 wide. B'nan Mili. How do you know that the ramp was in the south? Amrav Vun Amar Krov, V'shachat Osa Al Yerech HaMizbeach Tzofono. Shei Yerech B'Tzofon. That means the end of the Mizbeach should be in the north. It means the ramp had to be on the other side. Meaning the Panav, which is the face, sort of the back of the Mizbeach, that's the Yerech, is in the north. And the face of it, the way you enter it, is Bedor. Eimo Yerech B'Tzofon, Panav B'Tzofon. Who says maybe the thigh is B'Tzofon and the face is B'Tzofon too? Amrava, Rami Gavra A'apeh. The Mizbeach, it's like a person who's lying down, where his head is in the south and his feet is in the north. Why not say that the Mizbeach was like a sitting person, where his face and his legs are in the same place? Ravua means it's like ravitza, it's like lying down. For it more of Amaboyle, you need Ravua to tell me that it was square. Miksiv Meruba. It doesn't say Meruba. For Ulotamech, Miksiv Ravutz. It doesn't say lying down. Amarle Ravua Ksiv. You see both that it's square and lying down. The Tana Maisila Mehocha. The Tana found the source for this, the Tanya. Rav Yudah Omer. Umaloiseh Ponois Kodim. To teach us, Kol Pinoi Sha'ata Poina, every direction that you walk, Lo Yuel Derech Yamin, the Mizrach. You always have to turn to the right. When you first walk up the ramp, and you make your first right, you're facing east. Well, that only works if the ramp is in the south. Ve'ema l'smal l'mizrach. Maybe the ramp is in the north, and when you walk up, you turn left. The Gemara says lo psychotite. Can't be. The Tani Rami Bar Yechezkel. Yam Shasa Shlomo. Shlomo made like a large circular wash basin. Oy made al Shnei Masar Bokar. They built 12 cattle. Shlosha Porim Tzafona, Shlosha Porim Yom, Shlosha Porim Negba, Shlosha Porim Mizracha. Each pointing in a different direction, the 4 directions, and that kior was on top of it. So we start Safon, north, Ma'ariv, west, Darom, Sa'ad and Mizrach. Shekol Pina Shata Porna Lo Yol Derech Yamin. You go in a counterclockwise derech, always turning to the right. Le Mizrach. Ahum, Freit Gemara, Ahum Abayla Legufe. You need to know how to build that kior. Im Kain Poinim. Poinim Lamali. Why mention it multiple times? To teach you both halachas. Shol Rab Shimon ben Yosi ben Lakunya as Rab Yosi. Omraya Rab Shimon ben Yochai. Avir yesh bo kevesh lamizbeach. There was a small amount of space between where the ramp ended and the mizbech itself. Do you not agree? Valuk vanemar vasita olotecha basar v'adam. Madam bizrika. Dam has to be thrown. Af basar bizrika. Same thing. You couldn't drag it. There was a little space. You had to throw it from the ramp until the maroch. So the kevesh had to be a little bit separated from the mizbeach. Amar lo, just to throw it, you don't need to have a space. Shani oimer b'tzad marocha. He stands on the side of the marocha and he throws it to zoyrek. What do you need a space? Amar lo kishu zoyrek l'marocha d'leikahu zoyrek. He had to throw it while the grill was still on fire. So it had to be thrown. Or can he throw it on an unlit grill? So he had to be close. You don't need a hekesh between basar ladam to tell me that. So hasam mishum shlo efshar. Can't do it any other way. So the hekesh comes to tell you that there has to be a little hefsek between the ramp and the mizbech. Rav Papa Omar, Kida Madam Avir Karka Mafsiko. Right, when you stood and you did zrika, there was a space. Av Basar Avir Karka Mafsiko. Same thing with the meat. Amar Rav Yehuda. Shnei Kvasim Katan Yotzim Nekev Shagadol. There was a smaller 2 ramps on either side of the main ramp that came out of the big ramp. Shebehem pointing Yisod that you could. It took you down to the Yisod, and the other one took you to the Sovev, to the ramp that went around the Mizbeach. It was a small separation between them and the Mizbeach, Mishum Shenemar Sovi. It's not connected. You could walk around the Mizbeach completely without connecting to something else. Ravo Omar, Ravua. Had to be square. If these ramps were connected, it wouldn't be square. You need both. You can make them mizbech circular. Because Rachmana Ravua had to be square. Because Rachmana Ravua it could be rectangular. Because when a saviv, that the length and the width were exactly the same. Tanan Hosa. Hakevesh Ramizbech Shishi Mushtayim. When you add up the Mizbeach and the ramp, it's 62 amas. So how could you say that? You told me already that the Mizbeach was 32 by 32. You just told me the ramp was 32. So 32 plus 32 is 64, not 62. Right? Hani Shisen Varba Havu. Nimtza poireach ama al yesod ve'ama al sovev. The ramp overhung on the side of the mizbeach 1 amma of the yesod and 1 amma of the sovev. So therefore, if you measured from tip to tip, it was only 32 ammas. Okay. So tomorrow, new schedule, 7 o'clock Daf Yomi, and 8 o'clock Navi Shir.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Good job.